This is QTV Nightly News. I am Umudu Gajaga and thank you for joining us. First, here are the main news headlines. As part of events marking International Day Against Trafficking in Persons, the National Human Rights Commission held a training of trainers for officials of various law enforcement institutions on access to justice for migrants. Green Up Gambia, a youth-led organization engaged in climate change advocacy, Saturday held a mangrove restoration exercise in commemoration of International Day for Conservation of Mangrove Ecosystem. The Gambia Armed Forces have successfully completed 3 weeks training on peace support operation supported by the British Armed Forces. 300 solar lamps worth $1.2 million was presented through the community of Sanyang in the Kombo South district by Gach Global Mining Company. In international news, 95 Libyan nationals have been arrested at a suspected secret military training camp on Friday in South Africa. Those were the news headlines, now the news in detail. Welcome and thank you for joining us. This is QTV News. As part of events marking International Day Against Trafficking in Persons, the National Human Rights Commission Tuesday began a training of trainers for officials of various law enforcement institutions on access to justice for migrants. Answana Isonyasi tells us more.
International Day Against Trafficking in Persons is commemorated annually with a view to raising awareness on the plight of victims and human trafficking, and to recognize efforts of activists and law enforcement to ending the menace. In line with the theme for this year's celebration, Leave No Child Behind in the Fight Against Human Trafficking, the NHRC brought together law enforcement officers with a view to strengthening their capacities in dealing with complex human trafficking matters. Mansour Job, Director of Legal and Investigations Unit at the NHRC, says the Commission acknowledges the important role law enforcement plays in the fight against human trafficking, adding that enhancing their capacities is important for the protection of migrants.
And the training is significant in that it is going to build the capacity of law enforcement officials in terms of enhancing the protection of the rights of migrants, bearing in mind that migrants' rights are also parts of human rights, and the Gambia is a signatory to several regional and international human rights instruments, and as a result, as a state, it is bound to ensure the protection of migrants. And that is why the National Human Rights Commission, with support from the Office of the High Commissioner for Human Rights, is conducting a 4-day training of trainers to about 25 personnel of the various law enforcement institutions in the country.
Lena Rugege, Human Rights Officer at the UN Office of the High Commissioner for Human Rights, also stressed the importance of training law enforcement and the need for more collaboration between stakeholders.
This training is very important because access to justice, especially for migrants, reflects the society we live in, and it is important. It shows also the rule of law in the society and how equal society is. So the fact that migrants also have access to justice is a reflection of the rule of law in a country.
Migration remains a very complex issue, especially in Africa, and with growing concerns over migrant rights globally, NHRC officials and partners hope that training of law enforcement officers will help increase supervision and regulation, as well as promotion of migrant rights, thereby preventing abuse and eradicating trafficking in persons. Answana Isonyasi for QTV News.
Green Up Gambia, a youth-led organization engaged in climate change advocacy, Saturday held a mangrove restoration exercise in commemoration of International Day for Conservation of Mangrove Ecosystem. As QTV's Jennifer Sonko reports, the U.S. Ambassador to the Gambia, Sharon L. Cromer, joined the event.
International Day for the Restoration of Mangrove Ecosystem was set aside to raise awareness of the importance of mangrove ecosystems as a unique, special and vulnerable ecosystem, and to promote solutions for their sustainable management, conservation and uses. Mangroves store 50 times more carbon in their soils by surface area compared to tropical trees, and 10 times more than temperature forests. Green Up Gambia brought together young people from different climate change advocacy organizations and the U.S. Embassy officials, including the Ambassador Sharon L. Cromer, on a mangrove restoration exercise at the Tambe Wetlands in Cape Point, Bacau.
We are here today because climate change is an enormous impediment and challenge to everybody, the Gambia and people all over the planet. In our very small way, we can save the planet. And here today, we've planted thousands of mangroves. We're doing it not only for ourselves, but for the future generations.
Reports show that mangroves are in danger. It has been estimated that more than 3/4 of the world's mangroves are under threat, along with all the aquatic and terrestrial organisms that depend on them. Kemo Fati is the co-founder of Green Up Gambia.
So this is a very crucial reminder that these are the trees that will be here to protect us when storms come, when flooding come. We look at places like St. Louis today. The sea is taking over their places, and Banjul is no different, Katong is no different, Tanje is no different. We have 84 kilometers of open coast shoreline. So these trees, these ecosystems that you're seeing, these are the hydrological buffers that will absorb even when there are floods coming in.
Green Up Gambia is a youth-led organization leading climate change mitigation and adaptation in communities. The Gambia's ravaged ecosystem and forest cover needs restoration like this by young people who are driven by a patriotic vision for positive changes through such responses to climate change. Mangrove restoration is an important element in the conservation of coastal ecosystems by providing vital habitats for many species of fish, birds and other wildlife, and also helps protect the shoreline from erosion and storm damage. Reporting for QTV News, I am Jennifer Sonko.
Now, 300 solar lamps worth $1.2 million was presented to the community of Sanyang in the Komposat district by Gaj Global Mining Company as part of sand mining royalty agreement with the community. Lamin Alajifandin Dabo has more details.
This significant donation of solar lights to the community of Kombosanyang is expected to improve safety and security and boost the socio-economic development of the town. Amadou Mane is the site manager of Gach Global Mining Company.
And this is not the first time we are here. We were here before when they had a problem during at the police station. And after the police station also, we dug some boreholes here for the schools. We made some scholarships. Those are all part of our social cooperation presentations on behalf of the CEO, Abubakar Jawara. We are always happy when we always give back to the community because it's part of our MOU with all these communities that we always want to give them back to the community. So that's why we are here today.
Honorable Boto Bojang, the councillor of Sanya Ward, who is also a native of the community, shares his view.
All the Kabelos, they don't have electricity. So this solar street lights will help us to lighten the entire community. That will protect the community from theft, from other bad odds that are happening within the community here. So on that note, on behalf of the community of Sanyang, I would like to thank the Gach Mining Company for the generosity that they have done in donating these items to community. And I will assure them too also, we will put them in the good use because we are the beneficiaries. And you can see during the presentation, the entire community is happy.
Babinta Bojang, the woman representative, explains the importance of having such lights in her community.
Today we are very happy because light is very beneficial to everyone living in this country. Sanyang is a big community and some of our places are dark during the night, and for that matter, whenever one child goes out at night, we don't sleep until that child is back. This is because of the situation. We are praying for Gach Global Sand Mining Company for this important donation.
Yusufa Jase spoke on behalf of the Village Development Committee.
Yeah, I'm very happy once again. I will also take this opportunity to express our sincere gratitude to Gach. But apart from that, the youth being the cream of the society, I will call on the young people to join the stakeholders, Gach, the community VDC, so that we work hand in glove together. Elders have done their part. Why don't we come together to improve standard of our community? Yeah, so the youths are very, very, very key in terms of development. The VDC having different substructures, and then we need young people that will be in those areas to develop the community.
Several dignitaries attended the event, including Basiru Jabang, a member of Sanyang's Technical Advisory Committee under the VDC, the Alcalo Lamin Jabang and Baseku Bojang, the chairman of Sanyang Council of Elders. With the country sometimes experiencing blackouts due to frequent power outages. An initiative such as this is another way of complementing government's efforts to help develop our communities. For QTV News, I am Lamin Alai Fandindabo.
We'll now go for a commercial break, and when we return, we still have some more local and international news stories. Do stay tuned.
You want a place where your kids would partake in out-of-box learning, physical stimulating activities, fun and socially interactive games? Well then, the only place to take your children is the Q-City Kids Summer Camp 2024. It's a 6-week camp with interesting activities such as outdoor adventures, health and fitness, arts and craft, sports spectacular, water fun and safety, cooking lessons and dancing lessons. Prices: daily $200 only, weekly $900, full package $5,000, daily snacks and lunch packages $350 only. Q-City Leisure Complex is situated at Bigelow Turntable. Contact our front desk at 3372-489 or 50-62713. Q-City Kids Summer Camp 2024, the only place to bring your kids.
Welcome back, and thank you very much for joining us. This is QTV News. The Gambia Armed Forces have successfully completed 3 weeks training on peace support operation supported by the British Armed Forces. The graduation ceremony was held on Friday at the GAF Training School in Fajara. Jennifer Sonko has the rest of the story.
The Gambia Armed Forces trainees were trained on offensive operations, EOD and IED threat mitigation, medical care in the field, establishment and security of forward operating base within the framework of peace support operation. Here is the Deputy Chief of Defence Staff, Gambia Armed Forces, Major General Usman Gomez, and Gambia Armed Forces Training School Commander, Lieutenant Colonel Sedi Boyo, who both highlighted that the training of these participants with modern and up-to-date technologies couldn't have come at a better time than now.
Your commitment to mastering these critical areas of expertise will not only ensure the safety and the security of our personnel, but also contribute significantly to promoting peace and stability in regions where it is most needed.
The knowledge gained in this training, with no doubt, has prepared the personnel for the complex and challenging environments they may encounter in any conflict zone. It has also equipped them with the necessary knowledge and skills.
The training was conducted in 3 phases, in which the first phase was the theoretical aspect at the Gambia Armed Forces Training School. The second phase was the practical phase, conducted at the FOB in Yundum Barracks, directly supported by the British Armed Forces. Operational theatres are continuously changing. Soldiers therefore need to meet up with challenges. Here is British Defence Attaché Lieutenant Colonel Hobson and Her Excellency Harriet King, British High Commissioner to the Gambia.
What we've seen over the last 3 weeks is the very essence of defence cooperation between our 2 great nations in action. This is what it means to have a true defence relationship between our 2 countries. And I would like to ensure, and I know that this is also reflected from your Chief of Defence Staff, and indeed yesterday your Minister of Defence, who came and graced us with his presence, and indeed the Deputy Speaker of your National Assembly.
The relationship, as I say, between the Gambia and the UK is something I'm hugely proud of. It's built on a shared history, a shared present, shared values, shared principles, and a shared determination to be the best that we can both be as countries, to have that partnership and to support each other and learn from each other.
The building of the capacities of some Gambia Armed Forces personnel will also ensure that they train other personnel, thereby reducing the cost of capacity building. Reporting for QTV News, I am Jennifer Sonko.
Home economics students at Abuko Upper Basic School on Wednesday showcased their skill practical skills in home economics, a subject taught at the school as part of the education curriculum. Jennifer Sonko again.
Home economics is taught in Abuko Upper Basic School and other schools in the Gambia to ensure effective home life experiences for students and families. The school subject improves knowledge, attitudes, and ability to manage a home. The school consists of 5 independent areas: human development, food and nutrition, financial management, clothing and textile, shelter and housing. The Gambian curriculum focuses mainly on food and nutrition, clothing and textile, and home management. Through these subtopics, the students are introduced to sewing and designing, cooking, and healthy eating, as well as managing their homes. Fatu Sonko is the head of Abuko's Upper Basics Home Economics Department.
These practicals are the ones that we do from grade 7 to 9. We want to teach the children to how to develop themselves in skills so that in the future they will be able to employ themselves. When they finish school, some girls will, or even boys, some people do drop out of to grade 9. They drop out of school, but with these skills, they will be able to make something on their own, whether they can take care of themselves and their families.
Eganba and Mariama Acise explain how learning home economics has helped them acquire skills that are currently benefiting them at home and can also help them start a business.
Because we cannot only depend in school learning English, maths, and the rest, while we are not learning home science and the likes. Home science is a very important topic that we need to learn, students need to learn, that is boys and girls, so that we can achieve something from it. Because right now you can even have a work that you are doing, that is making these clothes, you sell it and earn some income from it.
It helped me in how to cook, how to prepare some things that I cannot prepare at home, and how to make them. It helped me. Fish pipe, yeah, you know you can do it, but how they make it here and how we make it at home, they are different. So it really helped me how to do it here.
Like other schools in the Gambia, Abuko Upper Basic School Home Economics Department needs more equipment to facilitate smooth operation, especially during practicals. Fatu Sar, home economics teacher at the school, delves into the challenges the department is faced with.
As we all know, home economics is a practical subject. So sometimes if we are to make our practicals, we find it so difficult to have some of this equipment or utensils so as to make our practicals. Do you understand? So when it comes to sewing also, it's the same. Henceforth, it is divided into branches where you have the food and nutrition aspect, the clothing and textile, and then the home management. So all these things need equipment in order to do your work perfectly.
It is hoped that the skills acquired by the students will go a long way in supporting them manage their homes sustainably and start up their own businesses. Reporting for QTV News, I am Jennifer Sonko.
Coming up next is international news. "95 Libyan nationals have been arrested at a suspected secret military camp on Friday in South Africa. Officers raided the farm in White River, a small town in the northern province of Mpumalanga. More in this report.
South African police are investigating whether there were more illegal bases in other parts of the country. Authorities said that the Libyans stated they had entered the country on study visas to train as security guards, but police investigations suggest they had received military training. The raid was conducted after received intelligence and said they found military tents, licensed firearms, and other military equipment. Cannabis and cocaine were also found at the camp, the police said. The province borders neighboring countries Mozambique and Swaziland are areas of concern for South African authorities with regards to illegal immigration. South Africa's high crime rates have given rise to a huge private security industry. The camp was initially registered as a training site for a private security company, but appears to have been converted, a second police spokesman stated. Local government officials, Jackie McKee, said investigations were ongoing and that the owner of the farm would be questioned. He said authorities received information that there were similar secret camps near 2 other towns in Mpumalanga province. Analysts say that in the past, factions in Libya have recruited foot soldiers from sub-Saharan Africa, and Friday's developments raise serious questions about the South African border security. The police have not said who the detainees might have been receiving military training from. Libya have suffered chronic insecurity since the overthrow of its autocratic leader, Muammar Gaddafi, in 2011. Alda Dele Campbell reporting for QTV News.
Now, before we end this news bulletin, here is a recap of our main news headlines. As part of International Day Against Trafficking in Persons, the National Human Rights Commission held a training of trainers for officials of various law enforcement institutions on access to justice for migrants. Green Up Gambia, a youth-led organization engaged in climate change advocacy, Saturday held a mangrove restoration exercise in commemoration of International Day for Conservation of Mangrove Ecosystem. The Gambia Armed Forces have successfully completed 3 weeks training on peace support operation supported by the British Armed Forces. 300 solar lamps worth $1.2 million was presented to the community of Sanyang in the Kombo South district by Gach Global Mining Company. In international news, 95 Libyan nationals have been arrested at a suspected secret military training camp on Friday in South Africa. That's all we have time for in this news bulletin. Thank you very much for watching. Join us again on Monday for another news bulletin. But until then, on Sunday, Week in Review on QTV at 8 p.m. This is QTV Midday News. I'm Mamudu Gajaga and thank you for joining us. Well, that's it for this edition of QTV Midday News. Thank you very much for watching. Join us again tonight at 8 p.m. for another news bulletin. Until then, have a lovely day. Bye.